All right, shalom, brothers and sisters in this truth. I'm your brother Moab to I'm coming to you again with another short, brief lesson. Lord willing, this will be edifying to those of you who are tuning in. And the title of this is The Divided Devils. Okay? I'll repeat again, The Divided Devils. And I was browsing through a lot of the brothers' live streams today, the camps, and it was the last one I was watching was from his brother Azan Ahmad. And then I actually looked at the headlines, came across this one and this video. And I don't know, Spirit jumped on me like, I was preparing for camp for tomorrow. Um, and this came across my screen and I was like, wow, okay, and it hit me, and I thought I was just bringing this up. But before I get started, I'd like to give all glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the teachers, elders, and apostles from Great Millstone, to the brothers out there that are putting on the truth faithfully and fearlessly daily, and you brothers and sisters that are tuning in. Shalom. So I'm going to go right into it with this video. Okay, check this out. Check this out.
Is America headed towards civil war, as many fear, or at least a division into two countries, one red, one blue? In September, the Center for Politics at the University of Virginia asked voters if the situation in America makes them favor blue or red states seceding from the Union to form their own separate country. 41% of Biden voters, 52% of Trump voters at least somewhat agreed. If you think this is far-fetched, know this. Since 1945, the number of nations in the world has tripled, many of them the result of secession. There are currently about 60 secessionist movements worldwide, which leads me to this week's survey question at swerconish.com. 50 years from now, will the U.S. map be the same as today? My next guest has researched the topic, written a book of speculative nonfiction about it, The Next Civil War Dispatches from the American Future. Stephen Marsh joins me now. Stephen, you write that the United States is once again headed for civil war. You say January 6th wasn't a wake-up call, but a rallying cry, and that we've never faced an institutional crisis quite like this. You then say the choice is basic, reinvention or fall. So, is secession the likely outcome?
Well, I mean, the United States is a textbook case of a country headed for civil war. A recent poll showed that only 20% of Americans have faith in their electoral system, and another poll showed that about 33% of them think violence against the government can be justified. So, in those kind of conditions where the threat of violence is so real and growing, like threats against members of Congress increased 107% last year, separation becomes a real option, and secession becomes something that I think the right has been talking about for years, but it's probably time for the left to think about as well.
Well, I know that relative to Oregon and Idaho, there's a portion of Oregon that says, hey, we'll go join Idaho. I made reference at the outset to talking about Texas and California. In fact, we'll put up what you wrote on the screen. I'll just cover the highlight that if Texas were a country, it would have a GDP that is 10th in the world, slightly ahead of Canada. California, even larger. They recently passed Britain to become the 5th largest economy. Didn't Ted Cruz also say that Texas could take NASA, the military, and the oil? To which my response is to say, okay, you can have NASA and the oil and so forth, but you also need to take a piece of the debt, right? How would we whack up the debt?
Well, Ted Cruz does not really know what he's talking about. I mean, there are many Texas separatists who do know what they're talking about, but negotiations around separation are incredibly complex. And the Constitution of the United States, which basically makes any discussion of secession moot, there's just no way to do it constitutionally, makes it much harder. And of course, all of this has to go through the UN. And, there's this whole idea that like Texas.
All right, so you get the gist of that right there. So what is going on right now? Why is Esau suddenly is going into this crisis right now? And it's because of this truth. Let's find out what that word secession means that he brought up.
Succession. Succession.
Okay, and it means a number of people or things sharing their specific characteristics of falling one after the other. Similar, it's the actual process of inheriting a title, office, property, etc. Now, this isn't the first time Esau fight a civil war. And now, why is this civil war coming up, being a forefront of the talk right now with Esau? Okay, and it's because the spiritual truth, this prophecy, is now taking hold of Great Babylon America. Let's go into the book of Deuteronomy 38 and 7. It says, And the Lord, Yahweh Shimi Al Shai, that power will put all these curses upon thy enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. And we seen this more than ever right now going on here in America. Now, what came upon us? Now, we were kings, and rulers and, prince and princesses, back in ancient times, okay, up to the Renaissance, we ruled this earth and all these nations, okay? So what happened to us? We had all these curses that were put on us, eventually dwindling us to what we became later on as what? Slaves. And right now we are currently here, okay, under bondage in captivity here in Great Babylon, America, okay, as a base men that are now being slowly risen up. Okay, but now what you're seeing right now is these curses that are going on across Edom, and we're seeing these actually occurring all over this world. So now let's take a look at a map right now of, let's see if I can find this map. This is a map of all the countries that right now, the residents, or you can say the people of Edom are on right now. You can see right now the most of the Edomites are living in Europe, okay, heavy in Russia, down in Australia, New Zealand, South America, what looks to be either like Peru or Brazil or with Argentina. And then you get North America, Canada, of course, and Alaska and all those other places like that. Okay. Now this is really critical because what you see going on right now in Australia. Okay, serious lockdown. You see a serious lockdown going on in Europe. You've got the Russian bear right now, which has actually been stirred. Okay, and this is what you see. These Edomites are now going to be going up against each other. But now let's talk about just a really America here. Okay, America has had this history before. Okay. Now, if these curses are on them, which is going to be the curse of poverty, okay, the curse of greed, the curse of hating your brother, okay, which is which would happen to Jake, looking at each other with bad eyes and bad intention, okay, scrounging for what meager resources there is, okay, then you're going to see Esau them trying to are going to be going into this. Let's go into the book of Second Ezra, and you can see right now with this, especially going on now with this pandemic, the scandemic, okay, which is really impacting these Edomites. Okay, now Jake is impacted by it, but the fact is, you could ask yourself the question, did Jake ever really actually had anything to lose to begin with? No, and that's the reason why they have a hard time convincing a lot of Jakes to even go for this. Now they're going to be the Jakes, the 2/3 who are going to go for this. Why? Because they have that low level mentality. They don't have the king mentality. But for us who are spiritually minded, who are king minded, who have the mindset of a king, we understand that there's nothing to lose here. I mean, we were always at the doggone bottom. It would have taken you maybe 5 or 10 or 15 years to accomplish something that Esau, these regular, dumb, you know, stupid Edomites couldn't accomplish in a matter of a few months. Okay? That tells you how hard we have to struggle here, how abased we are. So there's nothing to lose. So there's nothing for the man, the servant of Yahweh Shai, to lose. Second Ezra 15 and 16 says, "For there should be sedition amongst men, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings or princes, and the cause of their actions shall stand in their power." Why is this guy talking about division? Why are they talking about the fact that Texas has this economy? California has this very large economy that's the fifth in the world. Texas is the 10th in the world. Why are they talking about these things? Texas has oil. California has technology resources, but Texas also have the same thing too. Why are they talking about this? Because this is that sedition. Okay, this is disagreement. Okay, these cavemen are getting ready to go fight again. And no, the first time they fought was not about freeing Negroes. Okay, these men are natural animals. Esau is a natural animal, and they are preparing to go in battle against each other. Okay, they've done this before, and this brings us right into Isaiah 19 and 2. It says, I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians." Who were the Egyptians? The so-called white man. Okay, these Edomites. Okay, against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom, and that's right here in America. These cities are going to be locked down. You have a division. It's not even a red state and a blue state. That's just one. Aspect to go with it. I mean, this guy came on. He said, they talk about 50 years into the future. Which always they come out and they finesse the public about the fact that they think that oh, this is just some agreement right now. We're going to continue to move on with this empire, this wicked queendom. Okay, it's just that in 50 years, this place is going to look a little bit different. No, the fact is this place is going to be destroyed. And that motion has been set into place right now. And these people are so wicked they're lying to their people because they already know, and they're seeing the prophets and the brothers and the teachers and elders on the street corners, also online, putting all these epistles. They can see, and the elites know, okay, and giving them, hey, to go ahead to go and bring this out. But why don't you just sugarcoat it and talk about the fact that, oh, maybe it's a blue state, white state, blue state, red state thing? No, it's not. This is an Esau and Jacob thing. And the fact is that Esau is now getting ready to become their base. He's also getting ready now to become, being prepared right now to become a slave for 1,000 years and then put to death at the conclusion of that. And that is what is going on right now. So, yes, is America, aka Babylon, Sodom, Egypt, Idumea, the Chaldeans, heading to civil war or secession? It is heading to civil war. That is true. They're going to slaughter each other for whatever resources there is here. And the succession, okay, I brought up what the word succession is. Here's the word succession.
Succession.
Okay, the action or process of inheriting a title, office, property, etc. The succession is the fact that the kingdom of heaven, which is coming here on earth, is going to be inherited by the children of Israel. So that's the succession here. America itself is going to be the lake of fire that's going to be ultimately destroyed. But before that, Yahushua is going to have some fun with this place by starving out with famine, animal killing them, killing the people. Okay, they're going to turn the swords on each other, kill, rape, pillage. But except they're going to be doing this to each other. Okay, and all these other nations that think that that are here that have thrived, these so-called these Ammonites, the so-called Japanese, the Moabites, the so-called Chinese, these Ishmaelites, okay, these Middle Eastern, okay, these Amalekites that are over here, these Hamites, all of them who have prospered over here, lived deliciously over here, are going to be caught in the crossfire, and they're going to find out what horror and terror looks like, because this is a war between Esau and Jacob, plain and simple. All right, Esau and Jacob is going to be the one that's going to succeed, and that's going to be the succession right there. Is when we inherit, okay, when we inherit the kingdom of heaven, when we get the inheritance. Let's close out with the book of Psalm 7, Psalm verse 13. It says, "He had also prepared him for the instruments of death. He ordained his arrows against the persecutor," which is all these nations that's come up against us, but in particular the so-called white man, Esau the Edomite. "Behold, he travailed with iniquity and had conceived mischief and brought forth falsehood." And that's what you're seeing right now. Suddenly, this pandemic is all about Jakes, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American. Everything that goes wrong is about Jake. In fact, they're going to call this division, this is about Jake. Their disagreement for that original Civil War, they said it was a fight over Jake, to free Jake from slavery. No, you didn't. Yahushua freed us from slavery and took that yoke of iron from our neck. So you hear again this wicked ass devil giving himself credit for things that he hasn't done. Okay? And so they're gonna blame us again for this civil war and this division that they have going on right now. Or it's the Negroes and Latinos and Native Americans' fault that our economies has crashed. Or this virus won't go away, or whatever the case is like that. Okay? Continuing, he had made a pit and digged it and is fallen into the ditch which he has made. So they're like Valley Coyote, man. They lie so much and they create so many damn ditches that they can't even remember where the hell they create those ditches, and now they're falling in those ditches. And we, okay, as a servant of Yahweh Shai, are laughing at these fools. Okay, we are laughing at these fools because this to us, okay, this is grand. Okay, his mischief shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealings shall come down upon his own plate. And how did Esau get everything? Through violence, through the sword. This is how we were brought into captivity. We continue to experience this violence. The whole entire earth is being experiencing the violence. The animals experiencing the violence, the trees, even the damn air. The beach is all polluted here in America right now. Okay, they're spilling all the oils and all the other stuff over there. The food is contaminated. All right. Continuing, and I will praise the Lord Yahweh Shemi Shai according to his righteousness, and will sing praise to the name of the Lord Yahweh Shemi Shai Most High. And that's all we do. Because right now, what we are seeing? We are seeing our enemy now worried about America heading to civil war, okay, or secession, which is what? It means that your wicked queendom is going to be turned over to us. And yes, you are going to be fighting each other. And this is the world map of where all you damn Edomites, you crackers, live. And guess what? Every single one of these nations is going to fall into the hands of the children of Israel. Us. We are going to be ruling over it with a rod of iron, Okay, and you're going to go back into being what you are really, which is a hairy beast animal that's going to work your ass off for 1,000 years, at the conclusion of which we're going to round you up and put you to death. And that is your succession right there, is you are going to inherit death while we inherit the kingdom of heaven. So with that, I'd like to close up by giving all glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, double honors to the teachers, elders, and apostles from Great Millstone, to the brothers out there that's putting on the truth faithfully, fearlessly, daily, and to you brothers and sisters that are tuning in. Shalom. Okay? There's your succession right there, Esau. Death.